Welcome back to Transport Fever 2. I built one road network that will generate millions of dollars to pay off the starting loan of $10 million. It starts in Durham and extends between Miramar and Des Moines, and then over here at the Miramar Farm. Speaking of the Miramar Farm, that's where we'll begin today. Let's take a look. The Miramar Farm can produce up to 300 units of grain per year, and we will be shipping that to one of its consumers. Let's go ahead and take a look at the consumers. And the one I'm looking for is the Durham Alcohol Distillery. We can take a look at this factory. The Durham Alcohol Distillery produces up to 100 alcohol per year. Now it's a 2-to-1 ratio, so for every 2 grain, we'll get 1 alcohol. So let's take a look at the consumers. The consumer is the Des Moines Food Processing Plant, which is down here. And if we take a look at this one, it's a 1-to-2 ratio. So for every 1 alcohol, we'll get 2 food, which is actually really good. Now what I like to look at is how do we end up getting fuel. So we'll come into the industrial statistics, we'll filter by product, and we're looking for oil sand. There is an oil sand in Durham, so let's fly up there, and we'll take a look at this one as well. The Durham oil sand can produce up to 600 units of oil sand per year. So let's go ahead and place down a platform here, and let's go see what the consumer is of oil sand. That would be the Des Moines Fuel Refinery. So we'll fly over there. The Des Moines Fuel Refinery can produce up to 200 units of fuel, and it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So we'll definitely go ahead and put a truck stop there as well. And that concludes getting the factories that we'll need to get started. Now let's take a look to see how we're going to make this all work. The cargo station, the 528 Road cargo station, will be for food. And then up here towards Durham, the 562 Road station will be for fuel. One of the biggest challenges that we'll face is getting grain to the Durham Alcohol Distillery because of the distance shipped. So for that, I would like to actually bring both the Miramar Farm and the Des Moines Farm for grain back to 528 Road. Now, I don't believe that I actually put a truck stop over here at the Des Moines Farm. So let's go ahead and work on that. It can be one platform and it can go right there. Of course, this is not going to work without setting up some routes. So what I like to do is go back to the 528 Road cargo station and start building some routes. So let me go ahead and deal with that, and then I'll be right back and we'll start getting some vehicles out. Okay, so before we put the vehicles out, I did add 2 additional stations for the city. If we take a look, we now have 19 Northeast 6th Street. This is located in Des Moines. And we also have one now also in Miramar. So I did add one over in Miramar as well. So now we have 21 Southwest Taylor Street. These are both stops for food and eventually fuel set up so we can start manufacturing food. So we'll go ahead and put some vehicles out. So to start off, I would like to use the Mack AC flatbed truck, and I like to get a total of 5 of these for $372,420. And it can go out on 528 Road grain. And then I'd like to also purchase 5 more and set them out on the second grain route. So those vehicles are now heading out. But if we actually take a look, none of the farms are producing grain, because with Transport Fever 2, you have to have an endpoint for everything. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to add a few vehicles to ship grain to alcohol. So I'm going to buy a total of 6 vehicles for this. 3 of the vehicles can go out on 528 Road grain to alcohol, and 3 more can go out on the second grain to alcohol. And now the factory should start producing grain. Okay, so if we take a look, the Des Moines Farm is producing grain. And if we take a look at Miramar, it is as well. Fantastic. Now the problem is I'm going to eat up a lot of running costs on 13 West 528 Road unless I come in here and I change the stop time to unlimited stop time. So we'll enter a -1 on both of these routes. And I know I'm a little late doing this because it looks like the vehicles are already leaving to head out to the alcohol distillery, but that's perfectly fine. not a big deal. Because what I can do in this case is I can just go along and tell each one of these vehicles to return back to 528 Road. Okay, so let's go and head back over to our cargo station at 528 and let's go and take a look how much grain we have. As you can see, grain is building on the 528 Road platform. If we take a look at our line statistics, we now have vehicles now heading out to drop grain off at the Durham Alcohol Distillery. Now I want to point something out to you. Now up here at the alcohol distillery, I have changed the wait time to 0 seconds. I want to give this factory time to convert grain to alcohol and actually deliver alcohol onto the platform before I start worrying about shipping alcohol back to 528. Okay, as you can see, our first few vehicles are now heading in to drop grain off here at the alcohol distillery. And now this factory should start producing some alcohol. So here comes our first truck. We made about $58,000 for each delivery of grain. And as you can see now, this is actually starting to get grain, and eventually it will actually start putting alcohol out on the platform. But with that being said, we need to actually head back down to 528 Road because I need to take a look to see how much grain is on this platform, and we need to start adding additional vehicles to these two routes. So this is the first route I'm going to add more vehicles to. So I went ahead and I kind of accidentally double clicked one too many times. So now we have 12 vehicles on this route, and that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. So I'll do the same exact thing over here on the second route. And the only concern I have at this point is we're going to run out of grain, which it looks like we're going to have a few vehicles running empty. Not the end of the world. Let's just say that. It's not ideal, but we'll be all right. We could increase the vehicle count on each one of these farms to bring more grain. But before we do that, let's take a look at the Des Moines farm. It's only producing about 114 of the 300 currently available to ship. This would be a good time to actually put more vehicles out on the grain. So let's go ahead and double the amount of vehicles on this one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back in here and we're going to actually double the vehicles on the other one as well. So let's head over to the Miramar one and see how that one's performing. So the Miramar farm is producing around 80 to 82 grain of the 300 it can actually produce. So let's go ahead and add a few more vehicles to this one as well. So we'll double the vehicle count on this one, and there we go. And that should actually fix our problem as far as our grain to alcohol, and we should have more grain eventually sitting on the platform over here. Let's go ahead and take a look at our line statistics. As you can see, I've added a couple of vehicles to the alcohol to food. So now we should be able to transport alcohol over to the Des Moines food processing plant. Of course, this plant has nothing at this point because I just added those vehicles not too long ago. Going to take a little bit for that to get started. Let's head back over to 528 Road and let's head up to the alcohol distillery plant. So let's go ahead and make our way up there and see how that's going along. So now we're up here at the Durham Alcohol Distillery plant, and as you can see, we do have alcohol sitting on the platform, which is great. And you also can see that we have a few trucks carrying that alcohol back to 528 Road. So now would be a good time to actually come in here and change those settings. So instead of 0 wait time, I'm going to change it to 20 seconds. Because now I want these two routes to actually start picking up as much of the alcohol as possible. So we changed the one on this one. Let's go ahead and change the wait time on this one as well to 20 seconds. And now these vehicles will start picking up the alcohol. And hopefully the trucks have a full load. Close enough. I'm very happy with the progress that we're making right now. So if we go back to line statistics, that's concerning $126,000 in the red on 13 West 528 Road, but I think this will fix itself over time. Now I would like to discuss with you about the starting loan balance of $10 million. In theory, you would think that it would be best to keep playing until you made the money to pay it off all at once. But in reality, that doesn't really work very well, because if you look at our loan interest payments, it's 100K every quarter. What you want to do is try to pay this down as much as you can so your loan interest payments reduce. The more you can reduce the loan interest payment, the better off you will be. So that's what I do, is I always make sure that when I have enough money to pay it down, I always try to pay it down as much as I can up front. And that way I don't incur the $100,000 loan payment every single quarter. I think now would be a good time to start setting up for the oil sand to the fuel refinery to start getting fuel produced. So what I'm going to do is look at our industrial statistics again, and we're going to go and fly back up there to the Durham oil sand. And what I'm going to do is make a connection from the Durham oil sand over to the Des Moines fuel refinery. And I'm going to get a few routes set up, and then we'll start putting vehicles out to get fuel. Okay, so I was able to set up a bunch of routes. If we take a look here, and it looks like our alcohol to food is actually producing food now. Nothing's been shipped to the city, it looks like, but that's okay. Now I would like to go ahead and get a few vehicles out on each one of these routes. So we'll start here with the first North 562 road oil sand. And what I'd like to do is get a total of 5 vehicles out to start bringing oil sand over here. So let's go ahead and purchase those. And this will go out on 562 oil sand. Let's go and work on getting vehicles for the oil to fuel. So for this, I like to go and put 3 vehicles out currently for this, and that can go out on 3 North 562 road oil fuel. Now this particular route, I want to come in here and I want to modify this again to a -1 for now. I don't want those vehicles leaving until we have oil sand to transport to the Des Moines fuel refinery. And I'm also going to set a few vehicles out for the city as well. So we're going to buy a total of 4 vehicles, and 2 will go out on 1 to Des Moines and 2 will go out to Miramar. So these 2 can go out on 562 Road to 19 Northeast 6, and the other 2 can go out on 562 Road to 21st Southwest Taylor Street. And there you go. Now we have all the vehicles we need in order to get oil sand to fuel, hopefully delivering fuel to the towns, just like we're doing with the food. We should go over to 562 though and take a look at how much oil sand we have on this platform. We have 56. We're a little overloaded, not bad. So I do want to increase the number of vehicles up to, say, 6 vehicles at this point, because the more vehicles I can get shipped over to the Des Moines fuel refinery, the better off we'll be. As you can see here at the Des Moines fuel refinery, we do have fuel sitting on the platform, which is great. As you can see, we are struggling at this point with our account balance. We keep going into the negative. So it looks like we are about to make it to the halfway point at paying off the $10 million loan. So we're at $5.5 million. We have now officially made it down to $5 million. You can see we're $83,000 in the hole. For our loan interest payments went from $69,000 to $70,000 down to about $60,000. Everything's going well as far as the level of grain on the platform here. But the problem is if we take a look at the Durham alcohol distillery, it's still not getting enough grain. And the problem, I think, is the separation of vehicles. Like, for example, right now you don't see any of the vehicles in sight. So the number keeps going backwards, even though I can get it to level up once in a while. So I think in order to fix this, we should actually return back to 528 Road, and I'll show you what I'm thinking. So let's come back over here, and what I'm thinking about doing is adding a stop time. So if coming here, there's 2 options for the stop time. There's max stop time for if you're waiting for grain, or if you don't have products on the platform, it'll wait 30 seconds for them, then leave. What I think I'm going to do is switch this out to 0, and I'm going to actually work on minimum stop time. So I'm going to set this to 30 seconds. This way each vehicle sitting here has to wait 30 seconds. And I'm going to do this on both grain lines. And I'm hoping that by doing this will fix the problem with the Durham alcohol distillery not getting enough grain, or getting grain and then going through long gaps of no grain. In the meantime, I'd like to go over and figure out what is going on as well with our fuel refinery in Des Moines. So let's head over to the Des Moines fuel refinery and let's take a look at that one as well. And I think it's exactly the same issue here. If we open this up, you can see that the level of production is quite low. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing on this one. First, I think it will be good if we just double the number of vehicles. So we'll double the number of vehicles. That will help. And then we'll, at 562 Road over here, we're going to give it an extra stop time. So we're going to take the max stop time off. We'll give it a minimum stop time of, say, 30 seconds like we've done the rest of them. And hopefully this will actually fix the problem that we're experiencing currently. Hopefully we can get the distance of vehicles apart, so there's a constant flow of grain to the Durham alcohol distillery and a constant flow to the Des Moines fuel refinery. That's the plan anyway. Okay, so let's go ahead and pay off another $1 million on this loan. And that brings us down to $227,000, which is perfectly fine. So now we're down to $4 million. I'm going to let the game run for a little bit because I definitely need the manufacturers to get the proper supplies because it's slowing everything else down. Okay, I'm back over here at the Durham alcohol distillery, and as you can see, now we're getting a proper level of grain to this facility. It just upgraded, and as you can see, we have trucks still coming in and out of here. Now here's something I want to show you that we should fix. You see how these vehicles are zigzagging through Durham? I don't want that because that's just slowing down the process of getting grain out here. Let's see if we can work a way to fix that. I think part of the issue here is right here. So we're going to delete that road and we're going to bring a road straight out like this. And then we're going to actually connect the road that we have as far as our main highway. We're going to connect it up. So we'll connect the road there, right? Now there's a thing called waypoints. They've been in the game for quite a while. I just don't use them usually. We'll set one there going inbound, set one going outbound. Now we'll get the route and we'll fix this. So from 528 Road, you want to go this way to Durham Waypoint 1. And when you leave the Durham alcohol distillery, you want to go back to Waypoint 2. If I can get there. There we go. And now this will stop the vehicles from zigzagging through Durham. It's more of a direct route. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing to this one. If we take a look at our account balance now, we're down to $1 million. We have managed to get it all the way down to $1 million. And you can see our loan interest is now only around $27,000 a quarter, which is much better than where we were at. As you can see, our platforms have plenty of food over here at 528 Road. We have plenty of grain. The alcohol is kind of limited. What I like to do is fly over here to 562 Road and take a look at our fuel situation. Our fuel situation seems to be doing fine. We're overloaded on the platform. So what I like to do is just add 6 more vehicles to it and bring it up to 18. It's time to pay off the remaining $1 million. And there you go. We now have 0 loan balance. We just paid off $10 million with this one road network. Well, folks, I'm going to leave it there for today. I thank you so much for watching. If you like this kind of content, please make sure to hit the like button, consider subscribing. But until then, I will talk to you then, and goodbye.